Welcome back to West Texas View.
We've been visiting with Paul Cain, who is the president of the board of Midland Shared Spaces. And this is such an exciting and unique concept that we've done a whole series about their tenants and about how this came about. And so, Paul, I wanted, just before the break, we just started talking about the shared spaces, but I want us to talk about the affordability first, and then let's finish about the shared spaces.
Right. Well, Midland Shared Spaces offers what's known as Class A office space, and if you take a visit through there, there'll be no doubt that it's Class A office space. And as you may know, in Midland, Class A office space right now is going for astronomical rates.
I mean, if you can find it.
If you can find it, yes. And even higher than the big cities of Houston and Dallas, and our rates are just extremely high. Well, that was putting a real squeeze out, as mentioned before, on our nonprofits. So what we've been able to do with the help of our funders is really drop that per square foot rate down to something that's about a third of what the current market rate is. So our tenants are paying about $8 a square foot for office space. I would love the deal as a small business owner myself, but it's for similar space around town, $24, $30 a square foot is not uncommon. And so it is truly affordable, and the model is built for it to be self-sustaining so that we're not going to have wild fluctuations in that $8 square foot price. And our funders really made that possible.
And then, the next thing is they built in the sharing for the efficiency and the effectiveness. And so talk about that.
Absolutely. Well, I always equate it to my little office. So in my office, I'm paying for a conference room and a break room and all these different rooms that I have in my suite at my office. Well,
but don't need
I don't
all the time.
I might use the conference room once a month, but I'm paying every month a square foot rate. So at Midland Shared Spaces, the concept was you would have your office suite, but all of the common meeting rooms. So we've got on each floor, we've got a conference room which will seat about 10 to 12. We've got a board room which will seat about 20. All with all the AV equipment, all the things, all the modern technology that you need in those types of meeting rooms. We're going to have a break room, a nice large break room, kitchen, what have you, on each floor for the employees of the different agencies. Some of the kind of unusual things is we have a commercial kitchen. So we're able to actually cater meals to folks that want to have events there at the center. So that's a shared space. And then we have two large, what I would call meeting or community rooms. One's kind of geared more for training, okay? So it's got a lot of 60-inch television screens around, a lot of laptops and that kind of thing. So we do a lot of trainings out of that for the nonprofit and non-nonprofit world. And then we've got a large community room where, we can host up to, we did a lunch this week for 100. So it's, it'll hold 120 or so folks. So, and then we also have mail rooms on each floor. So all of those combined are
and
things.
Printing areas.
That's right.
So
Copiers.
Everybody doesn't have their own. Have to have their own.
That's right. Everybody has a small copier printer in their suite, but then they have the one that costs a lot of nonprofits couldn't afford the nice color, big big high capacity is in each one of the mail rooms on each floor, and so they're able to have access.
And so, do they have someone train them so that they can go use that, or do you have a person hired to do their printing for them?
No, they're trained,
Okay,
and the staff there. We have 4 dedicated staff members there to serve their needs, and that I think as we looked around the country, that's a rarity. Most of these nonprofit centers had no staff at all. For us to have 4 full-time staff members, including an IT person that can help them train them on different aspects of the IT solution we have in place, the copiers, the printers, and all that, maintain those. I mean, it's, again, a small employer like myself has to pay an outside person to come in and do all those things.
And so do you have a person who does the cleaning, for example?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
So we have janitorial service just like you would have in a normal Class A, office facility. So in the evening, someone comes in and cleans the building, and so yes, just like.
But now you mentioned a community room, can only nonprofits around town use that, or do you open it up like an oil company that wants to have a small meeting in there?
Right now, this first year, again, we opened our doors in January. Our board kind of decided that we would at first make it available only to nonprofits. Okay, so obviously the tenants that are in the building, they get it at no cost. They could use the space. Other nonprofits,
but they schedule it.
Oh, sure, they schedule it. The other nonprofits in the community will get one free use of any common space in the building, and then there'll be a nominal charge for nonprofits. There could be an opportunity for us in next year to host for-profits. We also host, which I think is part of that collaboration, part of our mission of collaborating, we also host a number of coalitions that have meetings, like the Midland Affordable Housing Alliance, and a number of coalitions that really don't have a formal meeting place. They kind of move around. Well, now they have a space, and we offer that to them as scheduled at no cost to them. So that's again part of the collaboration.
But one of the things that I noticed in looking at the list of tenants is you have 13 that have office suites, and then you have 2 that have what's called the flex suites, and those are usually somebody that just really needs a space for a filing cabinet and a desk and a computer, and that's about it.
Right.
And so you're full. You don't have any spaces.
We have one suite that's available, so I would say we're probably 98% occupied at this point. We do have one small suite that's available. We opened the doors with 2, and we filled one of those, so we still have one. It's we go through a vetting process. One of the things that we want to make sure that the tenants that come in, that you mentioned that we've got 14, we want to make sure that they have the same mindset that these other tenants do, and that is one of wanting to work together for a better community and realizing that they can't just operate in a silo, that they have to collaborate. So we have a vetting committee that will vet those tenants. But yes, we do have one space available.
But the thing that jumps out at me when I look at this is you've got some really large tenants.
Yes.
I mean, that have big spaces, and then some that just have little tiny. And the variety of missions and clients and services and so on is just amazing.
Right.
And over the last few weeks, we've had all of them on the program,
Right.
and so it's the Recording Library of Texas, for example, of West Texas. So many people didn't even know we had that. We're going to have to take another break. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation. Join us then.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.